This, a Jewish girl and a Catholic boy on the Lower East Side of New York. The girl, a Holocaust survivor, the boy, an Irish American, meet over Passover and Easter. It's called East Side Story. This was Jerome Robbins' vision for Romeo and Juliet the musical. Robbins and his team, Sondheim and Bernstein, were all Jewish and had faced vicious racism. But the Broadway smash Abe's Irish Rose, a Jewish Catholic romance, beat them to it. 5 years later, Puerto Rico became a U.S. territory, and 75,000 Puerto Ricans flooded New York. Teenage gangs, a shocking new social phenomena, splashed the headline. In Spanish Harlem, turf wars exploded, and West Side Story was born. From the very first snap, it was a different animal, an opera with dialogue, full-length as ballet. Casting was brutal. They had to look like teenagers, sing a crazy score, act an intense book, and dance impossible dances. At a 13th callback, the final Maria secretly hid above stage. The actor, trying for Tony, came in singing, "Maria," she whispered. He saw her, shimmied up a nearby pole, and the balcony scene was set in stone. That Maria auditioned 15 times, inspiring a new union rule, paying actors for more than 5 callbacks. West Side Story was the first show where dancers played real characters with actual names. Unlike any other musical, they created their characters with improv. Robbins wanted realism, keeping sharks and jets apart at all times, even rehearsal. When they finally came together, it was electric. Everyone thought the show would flop. Act 1 ended with 2 corpses in a spotlight. The cast gave a preview for all the kids on Broadway using pencils for pocket knives. At the end, there was a hushed silence, and then an ovation exploded. They kept tweaking out of town. Maria's final song was replaced with a stark monologue, and Tony's reception was lukewarm till they turned one line of dialogue into "Something's Coming." Set morphed with a story, and instead of cursing, they spoke jazz-inspired street slang, "cut the frabba-jabba," and "crup you." On Broadway, the show had 100 walkouts a night, but it was nominated for 8 Tony Awards and won 2, with more for revivals 20 and 40 years later. Robbins was a nasty, driven man, but his vision not only changed theater, it changed the world, and Hollywood came a-calling. James Dean and Elvis Presley were first choice for Tony, and Audrey Hepburn was up for Maria. But Natalie Wood, in a scandalous affair with Warren Beatty, tagged along to his Tony audition, and bam, hired. It was shot on the streets of New York. New to film, Robbins changed things constantly. They tried cool with a Salvador Dali background on the street, even with no dance. But irascible and behind on time and money, he was fired. He almost had a nervous breakdown, but in 1961, his film won 10 Oscars. The writer hated the movie, all these boys doing tourgetés down the street with dyed hair and color-coordinated sneakers. So at 2009, at 89 years old, he brought it back to Broadway. Lin-Manuel Miranda translated the shark songs into Spanish so audiences could experience feeling like an outsider. Another musical about America and her immigrants, West Side Story captures a timeless longing for a world free of fear, free of racism, an all-inclusive world.